So how did you teach yourself to speak like a native?
Like a native already?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm flattered.
Very close to, but if I close my eyes, I would just think that
you.
I'm talking to a native speaker. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this is like a very simple answer. I just watch a lot of movies and listen to songs. I would like print out the lyrics and use my highlighter to highlight all the vocabulary and look up the words in the dictionary. Like I do all kinds of that. And I would talk to myself in the mirror. Sometimes I would repeat like the dialogue or the monologue of the character without even knowing what it means when I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember the whole thing and I just say it.
So this is something that we have already talked on the show multiple times.
Right.
And some people might be like, really? Is that enough? Like just to watch movies and listen to songs and probably listen to some podcasts and try to talk to yourself in English?
Yeah.
Is that really enough to get you to this level?
It is.
Okay.
So
Do
I'm
you
a living
think you
proof.
do anything different, like in any specific way to just, I don't know. What is your like tricks and tips that you can share?
Well, I would say that for some people, they feel like it might not be enough, maybe because they haven't done enough. It's not the action itself that is not enough, but maybe because each person has different speed and pace of learning and something like that, right? So when I say like I listen to podcasts, it's not just listening, but I would familiarize myself with the accent. And when I come across that word like somewhere else, I would just like, my memory would go back to the sound that I have heard before. Like if you have never heard it in your life, you cannot pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of like you have to create your own environment. Maybe you just turn on something and make it run and play.
Yeah.
And the sound, it's in your brain already without you knowing.
Yeah. Put extra effort into the learning.
Right.
Not just, okay, I've listened to some
And so
episodes.
what, yeah.
Yeah, and so what? And then what else did you do extra to make sure that you get what you need to get?
And when I say I watch a movie, it's not like one time. I watch some movies like 5 times. I watch with the Thai subtitles or sometimes English subtitles, English audio, English subtitles. And that helps with the listening skill as well. Because it's like when you hear the sound and it's the same as the letters as they go, they match. And then you get the word like instantly.
Yeah. So maybe just repeat the movies you like.
Yeah.
You get, the freedom of choosing your own material.
Right.
Right? Just pick something that you would enjoy watching for 10 times.
Yeah.
And use it.
And you know what? What's even more amazing is that you can learn English from a Thai movie.
Oh, really? How?
Turn on the English subtitle.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's how I study translation as well in my free time.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah. You can do that totally.
Yeah. It's a really eye-opening experience. You will like learn vocabulary without feeling too tired because you understand the Thai, right? But then you will be amazed by how the translator use each word for each expression. And then you learn that English word.
And you would be like, oh, I never thought of it that way before. Like, oh, we can actually use this word to express that.
Yeah.
Wow, so cool. Okay, teach me. Help me get my start.
Right.
Okay. For example, if I wanted to start my journey as an interpreter, where do I start? Like, this is for a lot of people who are watching right now too, that they think, okay, I have a pretty good command of English and I want to pursue or explore if I can do this job.
Right.
Where do they start?
Wow. That's a really tough question to answer because different people have different approaches, right? But for me, I started by study the vocabulary first if I got a job, or even I don't, I would just collect and take notes of all the words that I learn. Right, like when I listen to podcasts, I would just take notes. I would just copy the whole sentence if I like it and put it down and like revise and review it a lot. And also another thing that I would like to suggest you all do.
Wow, she came prepared.
Yay!
Wow.
So everyone can remember. So you have heard of comparative reading, right? This is literally like comparing the 2 books in English and Thai, page by page.
So same book, but
yes
like in different languages
yeah
obviously
Yeah.
and you just did you say like page for page
you can do that you can do like chapter after chapter or page after a page or
Okay.
sentence after sentence if you have a question it's like when you read something and you think like how am I gonna translate this and then you
go
have
and
the
check.
answer
Okay.
yeah
Wow that's a
Have you
neat way to practice
have you ever done
I
that
haven't done that
right
okay
it sounds like really nerdy right
Yeah,
why do
yeah.
you buy like two books
Okay.
same story
but I
Yeah.
can see the
Yeah.
fun in that because
Yeah.
I also work as an editor for เป็นบก
Yeah.
ต้นฉบับแปล so
Yeah.
this is kind of what I do also
Right.
yeah because I have to like go over all the translation
Yes.
from a translator and then I have to check I
Yeah.
need to like compare actually I've done this but not for myself for my
Right.
work
Right.
yeah so I need to make sure that the translation is accurate
Yeah.
yeah
But for many people, if they want to practice, they can do it for fun. And also, like I told you before, like when I watch movies, I would always turn on English subtitles. Even I watch a Thai movie. That's how I study how other people translate things.
I see
Right.
that is so cool
And actually, when you watch something, even though you're like not on your job, but you would come across the problem or the challenge like all the time because there are a lot of cultural differences.
So I'm someone who always believes in learning from mistakes and failures because it would teach you a whole lot.
Right.
So would you be willing to share some of your failing moment or
Right.
times that you have to struggle for your life so much during the job
Of course.
and how it turned out?
Okay, I will share with you. Okay. As a language lover, I think a lot of people will know that I hate math. I don't like numbers. Like the thought of numbers actually scares me already. So when I have to translate or convert numbers, let's say it's Buddhist era and then to CE common era. What do you do? How are you going to convert the number simultaneously? Sometimes, the first time I pull out my calculator like on the phone and then just
Minus
like
543.
yeah. But it's too slow. What if there are many years? So I have this. I will
Ooh.
show you.
มีพร็อพ
I would say like this is like my interpretation Bible.
Ooh.
I print out this.
Oh, you got your cheat sheets.
Yay! Right? I would just have to. I put it on my desk and I could see it right away. It's Buddhist era and common era. And I can share with my partner as well. I have two.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this help a lot. You don't have to use your calculator and you can do it like instantly.
Have it ready.
Yeah.
Right.
And also for numbers, when it's like แสนหมื่นล้านพันล้าน just the thought of it scares me. So I
Yeah.
printed this out. In case like that day I froze. It's like you know it, 100,000 you know it. But maybe if you're like really under stress and then you just froze, this could help. Right, the conversion table.
Wow.
Yeah, because sometimes in English, when you say like 1,500, you can say 1,500.
Right.
So you cannot say 1,500. Another thing I do is I write it down. When I hear the number, I would write it down and then I just translate from what I see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if it's like 1,500, it's like 1,500, and then I can say 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you write along.
Yeah, I have to
Okay,
write if
take
it's
notes.
numbers. Yeah, and also abbreviation.
Wow, that's also
Everyone
super
is
tricky.
sighing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever make
Of
any
course.
mistakes? Okay.
It's not a mistake, but it's like I don't know.
So what did you do? You
Google.
just right
Look it
then
up
and
right
there.
away. Yeah. So when you do simultaneous interpreting, it's not just like listening and speaking. You're very multitasking. You have to look it up while you listen and interpreting at the same time. You have to look up that abbreviation because if you don't know the abbreviation, how can you translate into another language abbreviation, right?
That's true. And you have to do it fast.
That's right. That's right.
God. So that That's the case if you didn't have any preparation or
Right.
material beforehand, right? So you have
That's
to
right.
do it right then
Or
and
even
there.
if the speaker just want to mention some abbreviation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even it's not in the reference materials.
Yeah.
If you know it, you're good to go. But if you don't.
he could like go on the tangent and talk about something else, and then,
That's
this is
right.
not what I have like the brief
Yeah,
for.
right.
Okay. Yeah. You have to be prepared.
Yeah. You
Okay.
have to be prepared and you have to Google things fast.
Yeah. Use all the tools
Yeah.
that you that can help you.
And actually, abbreviation doesn't end there. For example, if you talk about WHO, you have to know that it's WHO. You cannot say it who. That's going to be wrong, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be able to distinguish between acronym and initialism.
Yeah.
That comes from preparation and asking why or how or what do I say? How do you pronounce this?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Like we don't say NASA, but NASA.
Yeah, like
Okay,
that.
You have to know how people
Yeah.
like use the word or
Yeah.
like pronounce it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like if someone translate for you like yo and then they say ayo, you're gonna be
Right.
like
That's
what?
super off. This is not
Yeah,
how
you cannot
we
say
talk.
like fabi, you say FBI.
Yeah.
Yeah, the listener will know.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That is so scary.
But
Yeah.
it's fun, right? But when you I think when you learn about these challenges, when you come across these challenges, you will find a solution for yourself. Yeah. Maybe you cannot solve the problem at that time. It's okay, you learn. You can do better.
Okay. I think it's not wrong to say that each interpreter has his or her own way
Yeah.
of practicing or improving or
Right.
like getting to the top of the game. But do you have any like basic foundation rule or something that newbies should know about becoming a good interpreter?
Wow. The baseline would be solid languages. Like you have to be proficient in language skills. And then even your like native language, right? The mother tongue. Sometimes some people might have a hard time pronouncing re or something like that. So, okay, for translators or interpreter, you have to have solid languages. You have to have good speaking skills, communication skills. You have to have, I would say, an accent that is easy to listen to.
Okay.
You don't have to have like American or British accent, but you have to pronounce the word correctly, like with the stress, the intonation. Like you have to understand the nature of the language. Yeah. And also you need to understand the cultural differences. Is that a lot already?
Yeah. I think that's
like a lot already.
whole lot. But like you said, if you find all this fun,
Yeah.
maybe this is a job for you.
That's right.
Because from what I can see, this is like you improving yourself every day.
Yes.
And it's for the sake of communication or
Yeah.
helping others understand each other. So
Right.
it's fun. If this is for you and you think this is challenging more than scary, maybe you can pursue this.
Right.
Okay.
Another thing that I would recommend is when you read something in Thai, sometimes I do this as a warm up before a job. I would, let's say the script is in Thai, I would read it out loud in English.
Oh, okay.
So the message is like transmitted through the eyes, but then I say it in English
Okay.
to warm up the brain. So every time you see something in Thai, think of it in English, like, or say it out loud.
Okay, say it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing, you can just record yourself interpreting at home. And then you watch the replay and then you give yourself feedback and comment.
Wow.
I do that all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that I make mistakes. Sometimes I say kap, not krap. It might be annoying for some audience, but I'm working on it. And yeah, I think it's good. Another good thing is self-evaluation, right? Even though you don't have a job today, but you can still act as if you have a job and record yourself, like watch some videos on YouTube and just translate, interpret it. Yeah.
Well, from what I heard, most of what you've done is self-taught, right? And you did a great job teaching yourself. Do you have any like mentor or someone you learned from?
Well, actually, I actually had a master's degree in translation and interpretation, and I have to thank all my professors who taught me all the amazing theories. But the way I use it, like I kind of like apply it in my life or something like that. And I think I do have mentors or the people that I learn from. They are the buddies. They are my interpreter buddies. Everyone I work with, I learn from them. I actually ask them, like, what do you think about my speed? Did you like my translation? Like, I ask in the booth right away. Is there something that I like any comment? Yeah, because sometimes when we work together, if one person like speaks super fast and the other person like very slowly, they do not match, and then the audience might feel like, what? Like change again, like. So sometimes you have to look at the speed and the pace of your friend as well. So every time I go to work, I learn a lot from other people.